Hi, I'd like to share with you an idea that can be helpful in these days of distance ringing. This is a concept that can complement bell trees very nicely, and it allows you to do some duet ringing with someone that maybe doesn't have a lot of talent in ringing bells on the table, but allows them to ring multiple bells at one time. So this is actually, I'm going to show you how to make a chime glockenspiel. So this is using chimes instead of handbells, and I've got standard Melmark chimes that I'll be using. And the other tool that I'm using is a floor mat that you might find in your bell group. You may use these to stand on during rehearsals or at events, or you might find them in your preschool. I'm not so interested in the mat itself, but I'm interested in this edge that most people tear off or they'll take off and put back on. That's the piece that I'm interested in for this project. So I'm going to take 3 of those edges. It doesn't really matter what color they are. I'm just going to stack those up. And then some of you might know that I do a lot of things with hair bands in my bell tree repertoire. I'm going to double wrap a hairband, and I'm just going to put it over these 3 knobs at one end of this, like so. And I'm going to put one at the other end. So this is just another use for hairbands. Again, doubling it and slipping it over this edge. You're going to want a couple probably in the middle as well. I have one that I've already done, so I'm just going to pull that out in the interest of time. So this is one that I did that has 4 hair bands, and it takes a little while to work these into the center, but they'll get there. Gives us a nice solid way to support the chimes when we make our chime glockenspiel. There are other ways that you can use this. You can, instead of this technique, you can use mattress foam, sometimes called eggshell foam. It's got the bumps in it so that it has some texture, so it'll help hold the chimes in place. But I prefer this method. This works really great for me. So the chimes, we're going to take and turn them over so that they're basically face down. The clapper is away from us. And when we put it into this slot, we want to put the nameplate away from where you're going to be ringing. So that's going to help promote it to sit it up. Grab the rest of my chimes. C5, D5, E5, F5, G5, A5, B5, C6, D6, and E6. I usually turn these around so the bigger one is in this little notch, because this little one doesn't quite want to stay there. I'll work on that later. But as long as they're not touching, you're fine. So this gives me the full range that I want to use to ring. And I can do a number of things with this. I'm using a little bit softer mallet. These are my bell tree mallets, but they're a little bit softer. And I can use these to play fifths. So it gives a nice tone, and similar to the bell tree, they're not going to damp by themselves. You can damp them if you need to, but gives it a nice full tone. You can also use multiple mallets, so you can play chords. You can do a lot of things. Right now I just have basically the C octave plus 2 extra bells in here for a piece that I'm going to play in another video. But you could do any combination of chimes that makes sense for the piece you're playing. So if you need accidentals, you just replace what you need to put those in. You'll also notice that I've gotten out the blue tape and taped on the letters because the nameplates are face down. I want to just a visual cue as to where I'm playing. I put those down where your hand normally would be so that they're not going to interfere with the sound at all. And I just used painter's tape, but you could use gaffer's tape or anything that is helpful for you. That just makes it easier for me to be able to identify my bells. So a simple way to create an instrument using an instrument you already have and allow you to ring a lot of chimes and to support a bell tree or a soloist in a simple and easy way. Look for the videos that I have that demonstrate how I've used this to support bell tree ringing. Happy ringing!